They're already here, so you're going to give them what a gift for, are they going to do more education, or what are they going to do?
It was due to the extremely high inflation that is happening now. It was decided on a bonus rather than significantly higher raises for the next 4 years. The contract, while it technically, it covers the union employees, we also use that as the baseline for our management staff also for raises. They get the same raises as the union members do. And I would also argue, Frank, that our management staff, while they are not covered by the union contract, they are some of the hardest working employees in this organization.
I'm not here to debate.
And so I had no qualms about giving them the same bonus that I was giving the union people.
To me, if you're going to, if you feel you've got extra money, you want to give it out, you should either lower the
It wasn't that we had extra money that we were giving out, Frank. It's we were going through contract negotiations, and it was one or the other. And this was the cheaper option.
Correct me if I'm wrong, we did give a 3%.
Yes, we did.
Cost of living.
Yes. Without the bonus, we probably would have had to give 8%.
The next question is, who negotiated the contract?
Our labor attorney.
Our labor attorney, me, Chief Romer was involved.
That's the way it's
everybody
always
was
been.
involved. So we had staff plus our labor attorney was involved. Then the union had their representation there. Then we had a state appointed mediator who was also involved.
Okay, when you go into negotiations, it's about negotiating. So what did the employees, or even the union employees, even though everybody got
Yeah,
a
this
raise,
is not appropriate to talk about the negotiations, Frank.
Okay, I'm here as a citizen, and I have a right to speak. If you don't want to answer my question, that's up to you. But I have a right to bring that up.
I have.
My point is, if it's a negotiating thing, what did we get in place of that $800 per person and the $400 per part-time? What did we get in return? If we had somebody negotiating on the side of the borough, what did they negotiate for us? What did we do?
I'm not going to answer the in-depth questions about the
You have that
contract
right.
negotiations.
You have that right, I appreciate that, but just, to me, they should have lowered our tax part of it, or made all the taxpayers involved in it. I just, after I thought about it when I got home, and I wasn't sure that
The cost of the raises, I think it would have been what, 0.001 per mil
Yeah.
to pay for the $39,000.
but you're already getting the 3%. When you go negotiate, you go there and negotiate, and you usually get something in return. We did not get it. I'm saying we got bad employees, I'm saying I know we have a lot of good employees, and that's not the point. But every employee of the borough got a gift, and that's what it amounts to. I hate to say what I'm thinking, and I'm not gonna say it, but to me, it just wasn't right. Thank you anyway.
Alright. No other sign-ups for citizen comment. Minutes for approval. Could I have a motion to approve the Borough Council meeting minutes for December 29th, 2022?
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Price, to approve the Borough Council meeting minutes for December 29th, 2022. Questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, hearing none, I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Price, to approve the meeting minutes, the Borough Council meeting minutes for December 29th, 2022. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. Presentation and acceptance of reports, community development, Councilperson Kaufman.
Yes, I'd like to acknowledge the receipt of the zoning and planning reports for December 2022.
All right. Any questions, comments, or concerns on the zoning and planning report? Public Works and Property, Councilperson Stoll.
Yeah, I'd like to acknowledge the Public Works and Property report for December 2022 and just point out a couple of things. The borough yard waste recycling facility it has continually done better every year, including this year. The 2021 total of yard waste and compost sales, I don't know what the term for that would be, but revenue, yeah, 127,000, and this past year, 2022, was 152,000, roughly. And the Christmas tree drop-off, just want to point that out, is a important safety feature that we can offer our citizens, just to get rid of the dried out Christmas tree in your house on this Saturday, January 14th, at the Columbia Borough Fire Department, or at the Borough Yard Waste Facility from 8 a.m. until 12 p.m.
Anything else? Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Yes, Frank?
I often wondered, so I'm going to ask, how do you control who brings what in, who takes what out? Do we have an employee there all the time?
At the yard waste facility?
Yes.
Yeah, Jake, you wanna?
Yeah, we do have an employee there the majority of the time. Over the winter months here, there's typically nobody up there, or it's hit and miss when they are up there.
So what do you do when somebody brings something in that you know is supposed to be right? Or if they're picking up, I guess you just have to load it?
Yes, we have to load it, and then we have paperwork that we fill out to give to them.
But if nobody's there, what do they do?
Typically, they call ahead for the compost pickup.
Just wondering how you control it. Thank you.
But the gate's locked, right, Jake?
Yeah.
Safety and Communications, Councilperson Bernard.
Thank you, President Zink. I'd like to acknowledge receipt of the public safety reports for December 2022, including the Penn State Health Lifeline report, Columbia Borough Fire Department report, received the codes compliance report, and the EMOC report. Would like to point something out here. You may have seen in your Columbia Fire Department report. I thought it was an interesting statistic on the number of incidents responded to in 2022, 780 calls. That's more than 2 a day. And how that correlates to this other report that you'll find. It's the statistics on the number of calls that each volunteer and fire department went to this year. Spoke to Chief Rhino quickly about this, and we were both very impressed, pleased with, which in my opinion is an incredible participation from a group of volunteers from our community. So there were just some points to note here. There are 3 individuals who ran 400 calls last year in our volunteer fire department. That's at least 1 call a day. There's another 8 members ran over 300 calls. 8 members ran 200 calls. And 33 members ran 100 calls. And 68 people responded to at least 1 call throughout the year. So I would like to personally thank the folks that volunteer to keep us safe through the Columbia Department 80, and to find leadership that keeps these folks well-trained, well-equipped, and well-motivated. Thank you.
Question?
Yes.
Yeah. I learned at the last meeting that these safety meetings are done during the daytime and are quarterly. how will the public know when they aren't?
They're not a committee of council like the old style committee. It's an internal meeting. So the public is not, they're not public meetings.
So then we just don't have a safety meeting no more. We just,
That's why we get the information at the monthly council meetings, in our reports and things.
I think there's a lot of things that could be brought up to health codes and maybe straighten some of it out, but where do you go with, you can't, people won't come to the meeting. It's hard to get people to meetings because you got to put tickets and all the fines and everything, and they're afraid to come out in public, to come to the meeting and speak out.
Oh, Frank, I'll say this, I hope people aren't afraid to come to meetings. That's a sad statement on our society, people aren't willing. I think people just don't come. I've been doing this 30 years, people just don't show up to public meetings. But if someone has a concern, they want to talk to someone, you can come in, you can meet with us, you can meet with the manager during the day, raise a concern, send an email in, and we'll look at it.
I mean, we have plenty of people that, you know, are disputing their quick tickets that come in. They have a hearing in front of the appeals committee. So to say that everyone's afraid, that's not true. They come in, they meet with the appeals committee, you know, and do it that way. I mean, and that's not something we discuss at a safety committee meeting anyway.
Mark, I went through what you're talking about. Come in, sit down, talk with staff, talk with you, whoever. That's as far as it goes. Even council might not even know what comes out of that meeting. When you get somebody here and they bring it up, we all learn.
Sure.
You have a solicitor, you have everybody here. So that's the part I always like about it. And that's how things get done. Thank you.
Oh, I believe there's another question.
Yes, Adam?
Thank you.
We appreciate you too.
That's not what I'm talking about. First of all, I want to thank Jake. Our maintenance guy was off for a week, and I called Jake and asked if the weather was bad, if he can clean our tarmac where the garages are, and he said he would. So I want to thank him for that, even though it didn't have to be done. And I just want to make you folks aware again of the hospital backlog. We're back to that again. I'm not going to mention what hospitals, but some of our crews have waited an hour and 45 minutes. There's going to be a couple of meetings this week, so we can have all the meetings we want. I don't think anything's going to change. So I just wanted to make you aware that there is a backlog, and
New ER isn't even
I believe
helping
which
to
ER?
resolve.
Which ER? The one that LGH made, or?
No, that.
So you gotta understand, we cannot drag everybody to Penn State Hospital.
Well-
We take the patients where they
Well,
want to
right.
go.
I
We
just
don't do that.
Was
So
wondering if that was.
that ER is busy.
Is
That
it?
ER is busy as well, but LGH is still in the middle of construction, and
Yep.
I mean, there's sometimes 8 to 10 ambulances sitting waiting for beds. So I just wanted to make you folks aware of that.
Thank you.
That is going on. Other than that, have a good night. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, oh, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to point out that when Councilperson Rivard, you were talking about the number of calls different people ran and things, and we actually have one of our employees, a Columbia Borough employee, that is number 5 on this list, and that's Justin. So he works here full-time during the day, and over the course of the year, he responded to 384 calls last year.
We also have police officers.
We have Brian Kaiser, who is here, Brent Kaiser on there,
And Warfel.
and yes. So I think that's commendable also. It's worth pointing out. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay. I wanted to elaborate just, or validate what Frank said about no longer having those safety committee meetings, because when I first took my seat, one of the things several people asked me is why we don't have committees anymore. And I understand we're not going back to that way. I know you made that clear, but there has been something lost in that, and I know you can bring it up at council, but you also have a limited amount of time to speak. You're given 3 minutes or 5 minutes, or, you know, where at the safety meetings and the other committee meetings, it was more of a I don't want to use the word free-for-all, but you could speak and you weren't limited to a certain amount of time, the conversation could go on longer. So, and I understand you said they can come and meet the staff and all, and that's appreciated, but then depending how many people decide to do that, staff's gonna be taking their time away too. So I just wanted to validate what he said, because there were people who, not Frank, but other people who really wanted those committees back initially, so.
Well, I think the last 2 years, I brought up in January, do we want to bring committees back? And the consensus was no.
Right.
So, I mean, do we want to have that conversation again this year? Do we want to bring committees back? And I don't think it's right to bring just one. I think it's all or nothing, I mean, unless someone disagrees.
No, I understand what you're saying, but, I just wanted to validate what he said, because when you come to the council meeting, you are limited on time to speak. And I think we do have a 15-minute rule too. If something goes over, then it spills to the next meeting or something, so you are limited a little more.
Anything else on safety or communications? All right, presentations, there are none. Mayor Lutz, Chief Brahman.
Yeah, let me pick up a little bit on what this last discussion, and I have a couple other issues. The safety committee meetings that you're all talking about, that's the union management safety committee meeting. That's not a public meeting.
No, it's the one, I think that's about the one, like,
That's the EMA meeting.
The EMA meeting, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, get it.
That's a different thing. That's
Because there's a misnomer here.
Right.
Yeah.
It's emergency management meeting, which is not a public meeting. Yeah. The other thing is, when council decided to do away with the committees, they put in another meeting, the first meeting of the month, which was a workshop. You call it a workshop, and that's when this stuff needs to be vetted and discussed, and that's where it's for. You know, so rather than having a committee meeting every night of the month, we're going to do it on one night and get through the stuff that needs to get through. So that's where. So you're not literally losing anything.
No.
With that. And the other part of that is, you know, when council hires a borough manager, his job is to do the day-to-day business of the borough. Chief of police does the day-to-day business of the police department. I don't know everything that the chief does. I don't want to know everything he does. I trust him in his job, and I hope you all trust your staff in their jobs.
Yes.
And that's how things run. Not to forego the chain of command and come in and lodge a complaint that no one has an answer for. Now, during the week of Christmas and New Year's, we had some real cold weather. And I want to thank all involved. I know the borough initiated what we call Code Blue with emergency management, Pastor Powers group, the police department, the homeless shelter, and the goal was to get information out there and put extra, the patrols were to be looking for anybody walking the streets that may have looked like they needed a place to stay, to patrol areas where it was known where folks may have tried to sleep or hole up overnight or whatever have you. So to get them, if they were found, to get them into a warm place. One of our goal was that we didn't get any phone call, that we don't get a phone call saying that we found someone had passed due to the elements. I think we succeeded in that. From what I understand, the shelter offered to, if they were filled up in their shelter, that they were going to open the other floor and house people, and I think they had a total of 33 and they can normally handle 30. So it wasn't a lot, but we also heard that some of the folks came in, warmed up, took advantage, went back out, and they traveled back, and that's okay. That's okay, as long as we didn't have people out there suffering frostbite, dying, whatever have you, that was taken care of. So I want to thank everybody involved in that. Great job. I know the chief and I talked, and we're very concerned about possibly finding someone who had some come from the weather. Art and your group did a great job getting that information out there. I even had a resident call me former resident, kid that I coached in football and wrestling, moved out of the area, moved back into the area, not in Columbia, but in the area. And his mother was one of the folks that started the shelter. And he called me up Christmas Eve and said, I'd like to volunteer at the shelter. My mother started it, and I surely can spend a couple hours Christmas in my mother's name to help me in the shelter. So that's the kind of stuff that went on, and I know we had other volunteers. That's all if everybody was involved in that. It's only January, you know, not even quite mid-January. We have a lot of winter to come yet. So hopefully that was a good test case, and if necessary, we will get back at it again. The other issue, Jake and I have been talking quite a bit lately. I don't know how many of you all have received complaints about Route 462. Jake has been receiving complaints. I have received complaints. I think the chief probably has received complaints about 462. I had one fella contact me for a friend who didn't know where to go because they blew a tire out in the construction area, and I told him to get a hold of UGI. We contacted some folks with UGI and PennDOT and told them that this isn't acceptable. We talked to our local legislators to help us, and they came out and they did some things. But truthfully, we're going to have to stay on it. We're going to have to watch it. It's our community, and people think that that's our road, and it's not. When you take, my impression is when you take 8 to 12 inches of concrete that's been down for just about 100 years, and you cut into it, and then get down and cut into the limestone bedrock and lay pipe, you may have trouble for a long time afterwards with settling. There you may think different, but until you use, as far as I'm concerned, until we can get the state to use flowable fill and fill those holes back up in, we're probably going to have some of it. Jake, to his credit and the borough's credit, Jake has been on them like a mad dog. When they're working on the borough streets, I know they're out on Barber Street right now. When they're working on borough streets, Jake is working to make sure that they do the job and do the job right. And I think if you get around town, you'll see that, you know, this isn't a complete work because we're going to get some overlay. But when you see what they did in those borough streets, it doesn't even compare to what you see on 462. So we're going to try to keep an eye on that. I contacted some folks, and they said keep an eye on it and keep us informed. The big thing is going to be when we get a couple of freezes and thaws with some snow events. We'll see what happens here. But it's not good. We admit it's not good. But it's not our road, and we can only go so far. But we can voice our opinion. And that's one reason I'm voicing my opinion here tonight, or my concern here tonight, publicly, so people know and understand. It's not Columbia Borough, but we are trying to do something about it. Chief, anything?
I do. I just wanted to give a brief update on Park Mobile activity.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. So as you recall, the program started in last September of 2022. We had 379 transactions, which would be, a transaction would be a purchase of 2 hours. In October, 820 transactions. November, 762. And December, 940. So I was pretty impressed with that.
And that's with free Saturdays.
And that's with 3 Saturdays.
Yes.
Now, what did our number of tickets look like?
Tickets were down.
For
Yeah.
just that part?
Just for readers, yes. Tickets were down, no question about it.
So there we go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our enforcement officers are definitely seeing more people utilizing the system. So I would say it's a win.
Good. I used it yesterday in Lancaster City, and it was super easy. And
Thank you.
all right. All right. Action items. We have the resolutions appointing or reappointing members to the different boards. So we'll go down through these. Could I have a motion to adopt resolution 2023-01, appointing Marlene Geltz to the Police Pension Board, term to expire December 31st, 2024.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Price, to adopt Resolution 2023-01, appointing Marlene Geltz to the Police Pension Board, term to expire December 31st, 2024. Questions, comments, or concerns? Being none, I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Price, to adopt Resolution 2023-01, appointing Marlene Geltz to the Police Pension Board, term to expire December 31st, 2024. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, could I have a motion to adopt Resolution 2023-02, reappointing Dan Bell to the Police Pension Board, term to expire December 31st, 2024.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Lintner, to adopt Resolution 2023-02, reappointing Dan Bell to the Police Pension Board, term to expire December 31st, 2024. Questions, comments, or concerns? All right. None. I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Lintner, to adopt Resolution 2023-02, reappointing Dan Bell to the Police Pension Board, term to expire December 31st, 2024. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Next, I have a motion to adopt Resolution 2023-03, reappointing Jim Chippy to the Civil Service Commission, term to expire December 31st, 2028.
So moved.
I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Brigard, to adopt Resolution 2023-03, reappointing Jim Chippy to the Civil Service Commission. Questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Brigard, to adopt Resolution 2023-03, reappointing Jim Chippy to the Civil Service Commission, term to expire December 31st, 2028. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. Next, could I have a motion to adopt Resolution 2023-04, reappointing Jazz Preston to the Zoning Hearing Board, term to expire December 31st, 2027.
So moved.
Actually, it's 27. There was a mistake made, and the resolution is correct, the agenda was incorrect. Wait, who motioned? Price. Who's going to second it? I have a motion by Councilperson Price, second by Councilperson Kaufman, to adopt Resolution 2023-04, reappointing Jazz Preston to the Zoning Hearing Board, term to expire December 31st, 2027. Questions, comments, concerns? None. I have a motion by Councilperson Price, second by Councilperson Kaufman, to adopt Resolution 2023-04, reappointing Jazz Preston to the Zoning Hearing Board, term to expire December 31st, 2027. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed?
Thank you.
Bless you. Next, could I have a motion to adopt Resolution 2023-05, reappointing Annette White to the Planning Commission, term to expire December 31st, 2026. Motion by Councilperson Fisher, second by Councilperson Brigard, to adopt Resolution 2023-05, reappointing Annette White to the Planning Commission. Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, I have a motion by Councilperson Fisher, second by Councilperson Brigard, to adopt Resolution 2023-05, reappointing Annette White to the Planning Commission, term to expire December 31st, 2026. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Next, could I have a motion to adopt Resolution 2023-06, reappointing Amy Redding to the William Locker Trust, term to expire December 31st, 2027.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Fisher, to adopt Resolution 2023-06, reappointing Amy Redding to the William Locker Trust. Questions, comments, concerns? All right, we're probably soon at the end of that, don't you think? No, we still have,
There's still money in the account, and I talked with the board. The idea was set up to benefit widows and orphans of the railroad families, but after there's no more people there eligible, they can give to other people in need in the community. So as long as there's still funds in the account, the board wants to stay active and still keep blessing the community.
all right. I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Fisher, to adopt Resolution 2023-06, reappointing Amy Redding to the William Longer Trust, term to expire December 31st, 2027. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. Next, I would like to acknowledge the resignation of Jack Gamby from the Shade Tree Commission, effective December 31st, 2022. Jack has served on this committee for a while. He's slowing down and passing the torch on to someone else, and I just want to publicly say thank him. I want to thank him for his service. It has been very valuable to the community.
I think Jack's resignation to the Shade Tree Commission, as you said, Jack needs to step down a little bit. But Jack, the Shade Tree Commission and the Park Rangers work hand in hand.
Yes.
Jack's still involved with the Park Rangers, and I'm sure even though Jack isn't on the Shade Tree Commission, will not be on the Shade Tree Commission anymore if you accept his resignation, you will still see Jack at many events that
Yes.
have to do with the shade trees in our parks.
Yes. We just want to see him at the meetings.
Yeah.
All right, and next we have the resolution to appoint Nora Motter Stark to the Shade Tree Commission. As I emailed earlier, this was my oversight in that her name was not on the list that was presented at the last council meeting. If we want to vote on that tonight, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that, but I also want to give the opportunity to push that appointment, that vote until the next meeting, just because we hadn't heard her name before, tonight.
I would like to see us vote tonight for that.
And that's fine. Just so council's aware, we did receive another application for the Shade Tree Commission. If you want to consider both of them, I did not get that one in time to get in front of you. So if you want to just consider tonight, or if you want to look at all the options, up to you.
Was there like a deadline on these? Or?
No.
Okay.
This is a
How
rolling
many seats,
application.
how many seats are open?
There's two possible seats open right now. One is Julie. If she is reappointed, then she keeps her seat. The other one is the resignation of Jack Gamby. That is one vacancy. So those are two to be voted on right now.
The Shade Tree Commission consists of 5 members.
Correct.
And you're saying there's 3 applicants?
Two.
2.
Well, 3. Julie,
Emily.
Emily, and Nora.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, 3 for 2 positions, yes. 1 being reappointed, 2 for the vacancy. That makes sense.
So, yes, it does. So, do we want to take action on this tonight, or do we want to table her nomination until?
And look at both, or just move ahead with what you have. It's up to you.
So we can either motion to adopt a resolution, or we can motion to table.
I'm okay to motion to adopt it.
So Councilperson Fisher would like to Make a motion to adopt resolution 2023-07, appointing Nora Mater Stark to the Shade Tree Commission. Term to expire December 31st, 2025. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Alright. I have a motion by Councilperson Fisher, a second by Councilperson Lintner to adopt resolution 2023-07, appointing Nora Mater Stark to the Shade Tree Commission. Questions, comments, concerns?
Mike, I have a comment. My comment is, you just mentioned that you have another person interested. Don't you think you ought to take a look at what you have, who wants to be on and pick the best person?
Well, and that's why I brought it up, just so you guys know who has volunteered, not to sway in any direction, just say you have two options right now. The other one came in before it was on this agenda. If you wanna wait, I don't think there's an urgency. If you wanna do them all tonight, you can. Otherwise, you can see who's applied.
So that was my question about the seats. I
Right.
thought that there was Nora, Julie, and the new applicant that we haven't seen yet,
Right.
and there's 3 seats.
Two seats, 3 applications.
Oh, okay.
So if
And I do think it would be more fair to wait.
what we would do in this case is, can we withdraw the motion
You can.
or vote no?
You can withdraw the motion at this point and then simply put another motion on the table.
All right. Councilperson Fisher, would you like to withdraw your motion?
Yes.
That motion is withdrawn. Would anybody like to make a motion to table the appointment of Nora Mater Stark to the Shade Tree Commission?
I think we should table both Nora and Julie, and I think that motion.
All right.
Second.
All right, I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Stahl, to table the motion, to table the appointment of Nora Mater Stark to the Shade Tree Commission. All in favor of tabling that motion?
Wait, Heather, the motion was both her and.
Oh, I was just gonna do them, I was just,
He made a motion to table both of them.
Okay.
so-
Might as well just table the whole Shade Tree obviously right now.
okay, so I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Stahl, to table both considerations of the Shade Tree Commission. Does that sound good?
I would say table the consideration of resolution 2023.
23-07 and 2023-08.
Yep.
How's that sound, Amy? You got it?
Got it.
All right, yeah,
Got it.
we're just piecing it all together. All right, any other questions, comments, or concerns on that? Yes, Frank?
So how do we fix this, that this doesn't happen again? I don't understand when the other name come in. If Nora had her name in, she had all her information in, now all of a sudden somebody else pops up. They had that same opportunity to get in an opportune time. So, there's gotta be a deadline or something here.
But you can appoint someone at any time.
You can appoint someone to
Or remove that.
or remove them
Yeah.
at any time from a committee. You know, it's all on who council wants to appoint to those positions.
Well, I looked at all the others that you had on here, apparently nobody else put their other name in, and now all of a sudden somebody puts their name in, and now it messes up the whole vote of what you're doing. So how do you rectify that the next time? That's my only question.
Frank, I don't think it's really a need to be rectified. I think it's a situational issue where we got another application in, we didn't have time to get in the packet. I wanna make sure council knows who in their community wants to serve on a board.
How long ago did the application come in?
It came in late last week, or I think Friday. Well, this one, I apologize, it came in on the 9th, it came in yesterday.
Yeah, I know the agenda changes all the time, and I try to get it as late as I can. And it's always So, well, anyway.
So those two are tabled. So now,
You didn't vote.
You didn't vote.
oh, we did, oh my gosh. All right, so, I'm so confused. I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, a second by Councilperson Stahl, to table the consideration of Resolution 2023-07 and 2023-08. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? See, Evan's here to keep me straight. Alright, next, ooh, Derek. Could I have a motion to authorize to advertise the Second Street Phase 2 CDBG project improvement for bids? I have a motion by Councilperson Stahl, second by Councilperson Kaufman, to authorize to advertise the Second Street Phase 2 CDBG project. Questions, comments, concerns? We do this every year.
Which project is that again, Heather? Could you
The
repeat
CDBG.
that? I appreciate that, I'm sorry, it wasn't helpful.
Want it one more time, Derek?
No, I'm good now, thank you. I'll pay for that at some point, I know.
I don't know why I have the hardest time saying that. All right, no questions, all right, great. I have a motion by Councilperson Stahl, second by Councilperson Kaufman, to authorize to advertise the Second Street Phase 2 CDBG project improvements for bids. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. Next, could I have a motion to reduce the public security amount for the Locust Street Apartments project in the amount of $57,290? I have a motion by Councilperson Stahl, second by Councilperson Kaufman, to reduce the public security amount for the Locust Street Apartments project in the amount of $57,290. Question, this is the one across the street, not, because we just
Correct.
did them down there.
Correct,
This is the one across the street.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought, but I'm used to seeing that name flats at 315.
Yeah, it's been, because that's what the name on the land development plan was,
Okay.
back when it was submitted.
Okay.
Back when we just carried that through all the documents.
There was no address in the agenda. I didn't know where it was either.
Sorry.
Are there any questions, comments, or concerns? Alright, I have a motion by Councilperson Stahl, second by Councilperson Kaufman, to reduce the public security amount for the Locust Street Apartments project in the amount of $57,290. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Alright, next, we have authorization to pay bills. Could I have a motion to authorize the bill payments?
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Fisher, to authorize the bill payments. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns on those?
I have a question on page 3 at the very bottom. The fire inspections, it says December 2022, $850. Is that for the whole year?
No, this is December inspection.
And what are they, 100 each about?
100 each, the fire chief gets 50, we get 50.
Okay, so that's just 1 month. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Next, I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Fisher, to authorize the bill pays. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Next, we have the new business. We have a couple of facilities use requests. I'm okay if we want to vote on these, but since they have not been come before us this year, I wanted to put them in the new business. So, we have a facilities use request for the Shank Shop that hosts a fall craft show on October 22nd using the River Park from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns on this?
The question I have, Heather, is, I know the Women of the Moose have been having a craft show about that time.
They've been doing it the first weekend
Okay.
in October, because
And-
they're like replacing the bridge bust.
Okay, and, there was another one, the Outwitch Festival, when's that?
September?
I don't know, that's what I'm saying, I don't want to kill
Yeah, I know, that,
long-standing Columbia businesses for someone. This looks to me like this is a private concern and wants to have a show.
October 8th. That's 2022, forget it. October, it says October. What is it?
It was October 8th this year.
Right. October,
Does he usually do it the first weekend in October?
Yeah.
so
that would be like the 7th or the 8th, Saturday or Sunday. Could be the 1st though.
Saturday would be Big West.
Then maybe
October
what-
7th is the first Saturday.
Then maybe instead of approving this one tonight, we hold off until we can verify when Albert Witch and the Women of the Moose are looking at, so that we don't step on.
Yeah, I don't want to, I would rather, for me, I would rather we don't cramp on any of our community
Long-standing
organizations.
traditions.
And the other thing is this a private concern that wants to use River Park?
Well, the Shank Shop, they actually had a craft fair
Yeah.
in the market house.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is this private?
Yes.
Is this a
Yeah.
business?
Yes.
So is there a fee to using River Park for a business versus a community organization?
We don't charge for the parks, we only charge for the,
The
pavilion.
pavilion.
Chief Siamese, we've been talking about, and I'll give Pam Armo credit, she worked very hard in putting together some draft language to look at how we evaluate special events here in town. There are always costs. The larger the event, the higher the cost is to the borough. You look at some of the larger events, we have police overtime, we have public work hours out there, we have equipment that's needed. So there are costs, and so we're trying to look at how we encourage these events and encourage nonprofit organizations to have things here in the community while still paying their fair share of what the true cost is for us to host these things. So we are trying to get that together and bring that forward. But this is the kind of example of something that I mean, the Albert Witch Festival is an excellent event, but it's not a borough-run event either. So that's not a true borough-sponsored event, even though it's something that everyone here in town gets behind. So we have to evaluate how we want to do this and how we want to look at it. The Women of the Moose is another long-standing thing, but it's not a true borough-sponsored event. This is one that the borough has held for a long time.
But to play devil's advocate on that, both the Albert Witch and the Women of the Moose are done by nonprofit organizations.
Sure.
And this is
And that's what
not,
we're looking at,
so.
nonprofit versus
Yeah.
for-profit, borough-run versus outside.
And I think the unwritten rule of thumb always wasn't, and I really appreciate you guys doing this. The unwritten rule of thumb was, borough nonprofit organizations using borough property or having something. The borough is willing to take on those costs of police, trash and things like that there as a community service.
Right.
To that organization, rather than having to give a donation to that organization, you help them make money, that's a good deal. But now we're getting into some private concerns, and you gotta rethink it. And there again, there's nothing wrong with rethinking it for our local civic organizations either, because there are costs involved, and we talked about that for quite a while, especially when we had the antique and craft show was as large as it was, and the bridge was. The borough assumed considerable cost. Jake's guys worked at both of those events several shifts on a Saturday at premium rate So that didn't come cheap to the borough.
Well, and this one, they even say in the application, they're charging stamp holders $100 for each stand, so.
I have a question on here about, under the notes section, it says permission has already been received from her buyers to use the river park, so what does that exactly mean?
I think that means, she said, if the borough agrees.
Right.
Okay, cause that's
They
not
can
written.
use the restroom facilities and that kind of stuff.
Well, that's listed below that, but it just said permission, and it didn't say contingent upon council
No,
approval.
I'm thinking that's what it's about.
Mhm.
Unless they rented the Columbia Crossing, which it doesn't say there, and they may have rented that. We can, by delaying and studying this, I think you can find the answer to those questions.
Yeah, I would suggest that we,
I mean, it's in October.
yeah, that we not take action on this one tonight and defer this one to another, a future meeting.
Sure.
So we can verify with our longstanding, things that we know happen in October, and we're not gonna trample on their dates. And also figure out if we need to charge a fee to use the park. Just to recoup some of our administrative costs. One thing I will note, the question on there was, or it mentioned that they would leave it up to the borough to determine if, we need to decide if they need additional restrooms. Yes, they will need additional porta johns. You can't have a big event like that and just rely on the two from Columbia Crossing. They need to get some porta johns.
And that's all in the guidelines that Pam has put together. When you get over a certain size, here's the things that are required: extra bathrooms, police protection, etc.
And there again, when an event like that, and they use the restrooms in Columbia Crossing employees have to be there to make sure that the restrooms are properly taken care of, that the paper and things like that are filled also. So there's an expense there to them. Basically, that could be borne by, due to the fact of the borough allowing an organization to have use the park. So
But,
it needs to work together.
And honestly, now's the time to really talk about this, because if we are successful in expanding the river park to phase 3 and building out, the idea is to host more events and make that a usable space for these types of events, in which case it'd be better to have the policies in place sooner than later.
Does anyone disagree with tabling this, or, not motioning on this one tonight, but reviewing it at a later time? Are there any other questions anyone has that would like to have answered before it comes to us again? I think we got them all. Alright. The next under new business is the approval for Kurt Edmond to host the Summer Saints Basketball League. He has done this yearly. So I don't know, I would assume we can vote on this one tonight, but are there any reservations that we would need answered on this one?
The only concern, Heather, is if we are successful in getting the grant award for Maple Park, we'd have to look at when any construction on that would begin. So we haven't heard anything yet. I don't know if we would start construction this year, but it's very possible we could.
Do you have any idea of when they will be coming up with a decision?
I talked to Lori Ike, I talked to her last year, which would be 2 weeks ago. So they have not announced yet. They're supposed to do it sometime in the first quarter, is what he said.
Derek, do we know, how long it would take us to get to a point that we would be starting construction?
I mean, if you got approval in
March.
let's say March, I think conservatively, even if the plans were ready, when you got approved, you're looking at 2 months of bidding, and then until a contractor would mobilize. So, knowing you need summer at the absolute earliest.
So
What's the date-
we
what's
could
the date
consider,
What's the
we
date
could,
you have on there?
Through August.
so we could consider, say, September 1st a good,
Yeah,
a reasonable estimate.
I think so. I mean, it would have to move pretty quickly to get the award, get cranking on engineering. The lucky thing is you don't have any permits in place, but the thing we've seen is the supply chain. So even if the design moved fast, the bidding moved fast, and the award moved fast, contractors are traditionally not, especially these days, they're just not able to mobilize as fast as they were before until they can order all their materials, get their work staff in place. We can no longer expect the contractor to start, 15 to 30 days after he's awarded a contract. So I believe you're safe in going this route. And if construction would start in August, I think you could probably make concessions and just work around it. So
Could someone get with Kurt, explain this situation to him, and say, you may want to look at a possible alternative site for this year, or even maybe a week or two of this year, so that, and I'm thinking Rotary Park, Jansen's,
I'd say Jansen's before Rotary.
and down at, out at the Gladfelders, if he has contingencies that he may have to shift for a week or two or something like that.
Yeah, he's well aware of it.
He's aware of that.
He knows about this problem.
And he can plan, and the borough can plan to do what you need.
The other thing that's gonna be happening in this area, we're not gonna be affected by the habitat stuff, are we?
Not for the park,
So, okay. I just wanted to make sure that, we're not having an issue there. But I wanna make sure we make it clear to Kurt that if things happen on that habitat site, it would be bad. Like, I would hate for some of his patrons to not be respectful of what's happening on that habitat site.
Well, that back end is probably gonna be a storage for construction equipment and materials.
Right. All right, do we wanna vote on this one tonight, or do we wanna table this one as well? All right, Councilperson Brigard would like to make a motion to approve Kurt Edmond to host Summer Saints Basketball League at Maple Park Monday through Friday from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. beginning June 5th and ending August 18th. Is that right? And that is second by Councilperson Kaufman. Excuse me, are there any questions, comments, or concerns? Great, I have a motion by Councilperson Brigard, a second by Councilperson Kaufman to approve Kurt Edmond to host a Summer Saints Basketball League for youth and men at Maple Park Monday through Friday from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. beginning on June 5th, 2023 and ending August 18th, 2023. Contingent upon receipt of required certificate of insurance. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. Next, since this kind of goes hand in hand, would anyone like to motion to approve Kurt Edmond to host the 18th annual Clifford Edmond Men's 5-on-5 Basketball Tournament at Maple Park on June 3rd and 4th?
So,
And I have a motion by Councilperson Fisher, second by Councilperson Lindner, to approve Kurt Edmond Sr. to host the 18th annual Clifford Edmond Men's 5-on-5 Basketball Tournament using Maple Park on June 3rd and 4th from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Contingent upon receipt of required certificate of insurance. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Alright. Staff reports, comments, and announcements. Solicitor Gable.
We had a meeting this afternoon with Mark, Sharon Sino, and myself, and I would expect for you to have a draft of a revised sign ordinance at your meeting on the 24th. Also, we will have a draft of the animal ordinance that we talked about as well. And last week, we held settlement on 700 Franklin Street, so you are now the owners of that property, which will allow the McGinnis project to be able to move forward in earnest there and get the, what we need from that piece of land as well. So a lot of exciting things happening, and we did also we've gotten those agreements of sale for the EDC over to them, I believe, and they will be, we'll be getting moving on that as well. So a lot of big things happening. We'll have some more for you. I am hopeful. My wife is due on January 27th, so I'm hopeful I will be here at your meeting on the 24th. I may or may not be, but someone will be here, so we'll make sure that you're covered.
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
You can call in.
But don't call in from the hospital. We're good.
Any information on the lot we have for sale, Fourth and on the corner there?
So there is some interest in some projects that are being evaluated as to whether they're gonna be viable or not, but nothing has been formally submitted yet.
May I ask why we had a real estate agent doing those two lots, and we are doing, is it CDC or something, doing the other buildings? Can you tell me the difference there?
So those two lots are, I don't want to say there's nothing special about them, but there's kind of nothing special about them. Whereas the two properties that we sold to the EDC
In the process
of, yes, are properties that have established businesses on them, are established as kind of things that we want to make sure the best and highest uses come from those properties. That's really the whole point of the EDC, and that's the reason why the law is written the way it is, so that you can, that you can transfer those to the EDC to make sure that where that is already established, that you get the best and highest use out of that property, and the most tax dollars for the citizens of the borough.
Okay.
Yep.
Another thing too, just so everyone's clear, the reason we can use a real estate agent on the other two is that we put them out for bid twice, did not get any viable bids, so after 2 times doing the public bid process, we can now sell them by a real estate agent.
Yep.
You can't normally just do that.
Correct, yeah, sorry.
Okay, I was trying to understand the difference.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And you mentioned that we settled on 700 Franklin. Is that what that check's for that says Realty Settlement Services? Because I saw that in here and I wasn't sure what property that was referring to.
That could be.
Yes.
12/29/22.
Yeah.
That would,
December.
that would, yes, absolutely, yeah. that
So you
would be
think it
that
was
one.
700?
700.
Well, we didn't,
I don't know, I just.
we didn't have a final amount until the.
Yeah, but that's a list of the checks that Tammy wrote, that we.
Yeah,
So that's outside of that.
we will check on that, but I'm
I
pretty
was
sure.
curious,
that
because I
that's-
thought, well, it
yeah.
looks like we sold something, because there's a settlement thing here.
Yeah.
We bought something.
Bought
That's-
something.
that's the one we
okay,
bought.
sorry.
Yeah, that sounds like about the right number, yeah.
That's right, that's the one we
Yeah.
purchased for the
Yeah.
South Franklin.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Engineer Ronaldo.
Again, getting ready to do another street here as part of the CDBG program, excited about that. We are continuing to work through the Walnut Street PennDOT process. Recently walked the street last week to identify some limits of disturbance, so we can try to work through the right-of-way issue that we're currently battling with. You'll recall the street's 70 feet wide and the houses are plus or minus 70 feet wide. So again, a little bit of a complicated wrinkle here, but we're working through that on that project. Also wanted to report that we're nearing the end of the survey for the McGinnis property. That was flown in December. We are expecting a base map from our aerial surveyor any minute now. And then C.S. Davidson is going to work to finish up some of the ground verification and hopefully have a completed base map here by the end of the month. So that'll get turned over to ELA, and then they'll start rocking and rolling with finalizing land development and site planning.
Alright. And we should actually be hearing soon about the grant we put in for
The US
DR1.
Yep.
So it'll all be falling into place.
And also, we did submit the DCED water sewer grant for Riverfront by the city of Alpharetta. So we did get that in on time, and let you know when we hear anything.
Fingers crossed.
Yep.
Alright, Manager Stivers.
So people are stealing my list, I'm getting a little bit jealous right now. Quick reminder, borough offices will be closed on Monday, January 6th for Martin Luther King Day. 16. Thank you. I want to probably say this every meeting, but I'm encouraging residents to sign up for the Text My Gov program. It's being utilized more and more. Thank you, Sharon, for letting us know we missed the one street closure. We are gonna keep getting on that. We have a training session coming up here, I think it's next week. Get more of the admin staff trained on how to use it so that we can have more people being able to push out emergency notifications or important information for each department. So we're getting good feedback on that. I will say that I've been contacted now by 2 other municipal managers saying, hey, that sounds really cool, can you send me information? I like what you guys are doing. So others seem to be looking at it too and seeing it seems to be a good system that we've picked, and it feels like it's going well. Tied to that, we now have analytics on our website, and the number of hits on our website has increased significantly recently. And I think a lot of that is attributed to the fact that when you text in, you use Text My Gov to get information side. It generally at the end of your back and forth with the system, it directs you to the website where you can get more information. And I think it's now working that people say, you know, hey, the Borough Farm, when can I drop off my tree? They can use Text My Gov, direct them to the website, and then they get all the information they need. So that's driving up website traffic, which is a good thing. That's what we want to do. So all positive communication updates. Next, speaking of communication, I know council has talked about, and we've looked at doing the video updates that we did in the past. We met with our communications team and we decided we're going to start doing them on a monthly basis rather than on a weekly basis. Looking to council, if you have important stuff you want to get out or information, staff, if there's things we need to get out, we'll put it together. I will warn you, if you bring up a suggestion, there's a good chance you will be on camera presenting that suggestion. So, Eric is already volunteered. And I say that jokingly, but I think it's a good way to get people and get your face in front, get the people see who you are, what you do. Eric survived his first one, flying colors. He did not pass out, and ended up coming back for more of that. So I'm excited about it. Our team's looking to just put a little more time and energy into doing once a month. So that'll be a good addition to our communication and getting things out. Finally, I'm going to steal one of Heather's things that she's probably going to mention, and that is, sorry, the more that we network and the more that we are out there in the community, the more it promotes what Columbia does. Oh, good, I'm not stealing yours. Just want to announce that Heather was recently appointed to the Lancaster County Planning Commission, and she's now sitting on that board, and that promotes Columbia in a lot of ways. It gets us out there, but I think it really shows that we are truly part of the community and being involved in broader than just our own thing. So Heather, congratulations. Thanks for stepping up to the plate on this. And I think that's a great way for us to expand our ability to network and do things in this community. I have held for a long time and continue to hold that the stronger that we work together as a team, as municipalities, as a county. Chief works with us all the time, and we reach out all the time, and we work together. The more we cross our municipal lines and work together as a team, the stronger we are as a community. So I think this is a great effort. Again, congratulations, Heather.
Thank you.
And that's it. Thank you.
All right. Upcoming meetings. which is tomorrow evening. Parks and Rec on the 12th. I'm not sure if they're actually going to meet or not.
Yeah, they're meeting.
They are meeting, all right. And Planning Commission is meeting on the 17th, and the Shade Tree Commission meets on the 23rd.
And may I add that Pat meets tomorrow evening?
Oh, yep, and the CAT meets tomorrow evening, 5 p.m.,
5:30.
5:30, at the Watching Clock Museum.
There was a change.
Oh, okay, yeah. Can we make sure, Mark, can we make sure that the CAT meetings get on the website, in the calendar? That'd be good. Thank you. Borough Council comments. Councilperson Stahl. I'm starting over here because he's over there talking to the mayor, so. Councilperson Price.
I just have a quick question. Mark, you mentioned when we talked about the Lockwood Trust, that something about people in need or something. What does that mean? Because I have no idea what they do with that.
So the William Lucker Trust was set up as a foundation to benefit those who were either widows and orphans of the railroad community that was when the railroad was big here. And so there was a trust set up with funds, and there's still significant money left in that fund.
For utilities.
For utilities, so they provide heating oil, utility costs, and other things for families in need. First to any families of the railroad community. After that, they'll serve anyone else in the community.
And how is that decided then? How do they,
If needs come forward, they take it to their board and they look at it.
all right, thank you. That's all.
Councilperson Kaufman. Councilperson Fishman. Councilperson LaFleur. Thanks for joining back up with us here. I just would like, the one thing that I would like to announce is a reminder, our next meeting, we will have County Commissioner Trescott and State Representative Brett Miller here with us.
And possibly Senator Allman if you can get up.
And possibly Senator Allman if session is short that day. But speaking of State Representative Miller, he has taken over Hickernell's, Representative Hickernell's office. So he will have staff there twice a week. And I believe it's Tuesday and Thursday, but I'm not sure. I'm sure he'll tell us in 2 weeks. But that was one of the things that we mentioned to him at the beginning was important for this community, was they liked having that office down there, and so he is going to keep that. And I believe Senator Allman will also be in there from time to time, so it would be possible for residents to actually meet both of them in that office with an appointment.
So there's Tuesday and Thursdays between 9 and 4:30.
9 to 4, there you go, Tuesday and Thursday, 9 to 4:30, staff will be down at Representative Brett Miller's office. So, and next meeting, Brett Miller and John Trescott will be here to answer questions, give us updates on the county and the state level and things like that. So, should be a good meeting. The next meeting at 7 p.m. on January 24th, council will hold a regular meeting. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Price to adjourn at 8:18 p.m. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, we're adjourned.
Congratulations, Senator.
Thanks. You know, I didn't even know it until I had applied back in like the beginning of November and never heard anything. And then